Hi everyone! Today we're going to be doing a little bit of a different video, and we are going to be looking through some picture books. For my normal full-time job, I work with kids and I spend a lot of my time reading stories. And in the time that I've been doing that, I've seen just so many beautiful picture books, and so I thought it would be fun to just take a look at a couple of my favorites and flip through them and look at all of the different art styles that are in them. Sorry in advance if it's a little bit dim in here. We've got kind of another gray Seattle morning going on, and the lamps are glaring too much on the pages, so I'd rather it just be a little bit darker than have that glare. Anyway, I picked out a couple picture books, so let's go ahead and take a look at what's inside. The first one is this one. This one is Hands, Growing Up to Be an Artist by Lois Ehlert. And she is just probably one of my very favorite picture book illustrators. If that name doesn't sound familiar, a couple of the other ones she's done are Planting a Rainbow, Leaf Man. She was the illustrator for Chicka Chicka Boom Boom, which is one that I grew up with. But this one is all about her life, her childhood, and kind of what inspired her to grow up to be an artist. I wouldn't say that this one is very stylistically representative of her work as a whole, as in not all of her picture books look like this one, but I love this one so much. I love the cover first thing too. This illustration, the watercolor palette, will appear later in the book too, but just all the colors, and specifically I love the font that she always uses too. She always uses this same serif typeface. But this one has lots of really fun page shapes and pockets that are just very enjoyable for me, even as an adult. It feels kind of strange to be going through a picture book without reading it out loud, but I won't subject you to that. Again, all the different page shapes and flaps. I love the photographic style in this one. All the really bold colors that are very true to her work. Her work just always seems to have these beautiful, beautiful textures in it. Like even this with the quilted fabric, the paint splatters. Again, all the bright, bright colors. I think this one, just because of all the materials she's choosing, needle and thread, all the different scissors, the tools, it really makes me enjoy looking at my desk clutter more. I start to look at my own sewing scissors or my own little miscellaneous trinkets and objects and start to feel like they're artistic as well. There's just such an artistry to the way that she does color and clutter. this makes so much sense to me because of how many of her books are focused on nature and gardening. Growing Vegetable Soup is another one of hers that I really enjoy. Yep, there's that watercolor palette one again. Oh. Yeah, there's hands. I even love on the back that they chose this illustration too. Oh, the array of objects reminds me so much of an I Spy book. Those were always very aesthetically pleasing to my own eye as well. Alrighty, there's hands, growing up to be an artist. The next one is One Hot Summer Day by Nina Cruz. Sorry, it's early. I'm drinking my coffee. This one is not one that I read when I was younger, but I kind of wish that I did. It's so joyous and like evocative of how you experience the summer different when you're a little kid. I guess for curiosity, I want to see what year all of these were made into. Let's see. Because I know illustration styles just tend to go through so many trends. Let's see. Does this one say? Maybe on the dust jacket. It says Jacket Illustrations copyright 2004 and 1997. So we're looking at late 90s here for hands. One Hot Summer Day is also the 90s, I think. Let's see, my guess is 95. Let's see if I'm right. Yes, copyright 1995. Excellent. Nina Cruz is a really excellent picture book illustrator. She does a very like photographic collage style, but the fun thing with her is that both of her parents were also picture book illustrators. Her mom was Ann Jonas, who did one of my favorite picture books of all time, Color Dance. I teach with it every year, multiple times a year. And her dad was Donald Cruz, who did Freight Train, which is one that I really enjoy. This was her picture book debut. And I don't know, I love the way that she puts the photographs together in a way that's like almost realistic, but you can still tell at the same time that it wasn't just one photograph. And I believe at this point in her career, at the very beginning, she was still taking her photographs and cutting and arranging them by hand. This little girl is so adorable. This one is fun, the playing with different shapes. This one, we get the tree leaves. And I love that it looks like she could just be doing this as a scene, but I think that she's not actually here. Like, she still looks kind of cut out and glued in. Here you can even see the edges. I'll see if I can lift that up a little closer. You can see the edges of where she's cut out. It's always just so interesting for me to see other people's approaches to collage. I love here that the car is like at the same level of these buildings. And this makes so much sense for this book. Like being able to collage her multiple times just captures the feeling far better than taking one still photo of her would have. This one is fun, all the different shapes. The joy. You know, some of these copies are a little bit damaged. I get pretty much all of my picture books secondhand. This one was a withdrawn library copy, probably because of this. Yeah, Hartford Public Library. Yeah, there's One Hot Summer Day. Ooh, sorry. That was a rough sound. Maybe I'll be nice and edit that one for you. Okay, next up, this one is one that I never see anybody talk about, and I am in love with the illustrations so much. This is Alice and Zinnia by Anita Lobel, not sure. I believe that she at one point had been married to, I can't for the life of me remember his name now, but he was the creator of the Frog and Toad books. But this is an A to Z book with different flowers. Let's see if we can figure out what year this is, because I really do mean it. They don't exactly be illustrating books in this style very often anymore. 1990, that's what I expected. Okay. And then, she's specific with this one. Watercolor and gouache paints were used for the illustrations. But it's just spread after spread of these beautiful large-scale florals, and then these tiny bars with the little portraits, little vignettes. I love all the color in this one. I love all the details in this one. I love the backgrounds she chooses. A few plants I've never heard of. A Jack in the Pulpit. The peony. I love peonies anyway, but just the colors she uses. A whole rainbow of colors in this book, and they just go together so well. It's such like a cohesive palette. The tulips, again, the detail is just very stunning. The colors are beautiful. This blue, of course, perfect for these. at the very end, we go all the way back to Allison. Ooh, I don't think there's anything on the last page. Oh, actually, I do love this. Little bars of all the different flowers, and then kind of the story of how she came up with the idea for the book. But yes, love this one. Very fun, very pretty. And then the last one is Butterfly Park by Ellie McKay, who is just a phenomenal artist. The way she approaches collage is so unique. Regrettably, I will say this book unfortunately sustained a little bit of water damage. It's gotten a bit warped. I, of course, will eventually be buying a new copy because this one is just too stunning, but for now we're going to be looking through this one. It's a little warped and a little bent, but I think you'll get the picture. But Ellie McKay is another, I almost don't even want to call it collage work that she does because it's so unique to what I've seen other people do. I know, terrible. The unfortunate reality of a leaky roof, I suppose. I know this one's gonna rip. That's okay. This one is 2015. But the way she does these illustrations, I may skip this chunk, we'll see. I can't quite get them all apart. But the way she does these illustrations is she cuts out all the individual pieces and then she stages them in like a three-dimensional way and then photographs them and is able to change the lighting, which just really is able to bring this sort of dynamic change in mood that you don't always see with like a flat collage. They are just absolutely gorgeous. And I can't even fathom how much time it must take, especially some of these more intricate pieces. Like, all of these details are just stunning. Her characters are always like very full of movement, even when they're still. This one I love, you can almost see exactly how flat it is. I love when you can see the edges of like cut paper. And this town just looks so charming too. I want to live here. This is beautiful to me. The backgrounds, the shadow of the gate. Again, such dynamic poses. Even more characters. The amount of detail some of these illustrations have, when you think about how many individual pieces this must have been, oh my goodness. I love down here, these different colored strips. It would have been very easy to just do this as a solid chunk. She didn't. It's more complicated. This like blue lighting that's being projected here. It does an excellent job of kind of showing what time of day it's meant to be. And can see the paint textures on some of these pieces too. Little splatters. Again, I can't fathom how long this must have taken, but if you ever get the chance to check out her Instagram, Ellie McKay, she does some kind of behind the scenes shots where she shows kind of how she stages these, or she'll test out the same paper cut pieces with different lighting to see how it changes. It's really fascinating. I highly recommend giving her a follow. This one, oh, the textures. Right here in the dirt. I love. I'm not sure what she used. Maybe some kind of like watercolor and salt. I'm not sure, but I love it. Very effective. Oh, here we go. Again, the color palette is just stunning. These pinks and yellows and greens. Open up to a big full page one. I'm gonna lift you up a little bit so you can see more of it. Okay, I'll put you back. And again, we get like a full spectrum of color on this spread, and it is just visually absolutely beautiful. Yep, and there's Butterfly House. I like the illustration on the back as well. Unfortunately, very warped. But yeah, there are a few of my favorite picture books. These are all ones that I own for myself. They're like my own personal collection, but maybe sometime in the future I might do this again with some picture books that I read more frequently for my work. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed this quick, simple little video, but I just spend so much of my time with picture books that looking at all the illustrations has eaten up so much of my time, and it's so interesting to me. So I hope you enjoyed getting a look at some other artists' styles. Maybe it inspires you to try something different with your own work. If you have a favorite picture book or a picture book where you really love the art, please let me know about it. I always am looking for new picture books and new illustrators to follow. But yeah, thank you so much for joining me. I'll see you guys in the next one.